tonight. I got to turn my music off, Junior. We have to get started, man.
Yeah.
When I get down and listen to my country, man, not much can stop me. All right. Thank you, guys. Great message, Tim. I did get your message, man. It's a blessing to have you guys as a part of things, too, all the way over there in New Zealand. And certainly, yeah, Cleta, we're going to be in West Palm Beach, Florida, with a live event. And you guys will hear more about that over the next 7 days or so. It's an internet marketing type of thing. It's really about really helping you guys to leverage yourselves as internet marketers. But you'll hear more about that. In fact, tonight's webinar is all about that as well. So, Junior, good to see you tonight, man.
Yeah, excited to be here. It's going to be a very cool webinar. I think people are going to get a lot from it.
Yeah. Hey, Rod, good to see you. And there's a lot of you guys here. I mean, we're not ignoring you at all, but it's virtually impossible to say hi to everyone. But I'm going to give some shout outs. Tony, Damien, James, Brent, Jose Alfredo Loomis, man, we've been working with you for what, since 2012. You're a sharp dude. Good to see you around as well. Vern, Greg, Timothy, Michael, Rod, JC Waller. I mean, everybody's in the house. Let me see. Oh my gosh. Dan Powell, and Linda, of course, Raj, Cleta, I've already spoken to you, Kurt, Ariel, also from, I think, New Zealand area or the Netherlands, Rich. I could go on. Gary, Neil, CK, Junior. You know, we can't say hi to everyone, but certainly we could give shouts out and let you know we all love you guys as a whole. Junior, tonight, we try to keep things on a step-by-step instructional way of doing things, but sometimes we have to get down to the intangibles. Everybody talks about the tangibles, buy this product, this tangible will get you there. Try this formula, this will get you there. Tonight, it's about the intangibles. And I can only tell you guys that the stuff we're going to share with you tonight is what we do, okay? Everybody has their own backgrounds. You all come with a different background that you're bringing to the table. Some of you are like us. You come from, you're normal people. You come from a home that may be dysfunctional at some level. You may have come from a place where you didn't have a home and a family. You may come from a background where it's always been tough, and it's no different today. But at the end of this thing, I want you to understand that you can do it. Thank God, Dwayne, tonight that affiliate marketing isn't based on where you come from. It's not based on who your mom or dad is. It's not based on the fact that you have a college degree. It's not based on the fact that you're tall, dark, and handsome, short, light, and cute, unacceptably ugly. None of that matters tonight. The ground is level if you're willing to apply yourself. So let me just ask this question tonight, Junior. We're getting started. I mean, I don't think I'm exaggerating. I have a high energy personality, but I am telling these folks tonight, please stop me in my tracks if I'm heading down the wrong path.
Yeah.
So Junior says yes.
I didn't hit your question. I thought you were just saying stop me in my tracks. I'm like, okay, I will.
Yeah, stop me. And if you can give some input before we get to the actual webinar.
Okay, no, man. I'm excited to get this thing rolling, man. We got a cool presentation set up for you guys. Excited about it. Let's go. Let's get moving.
Let's go. Let's get moving. You heard him here. So bottom line is, no matter what you're coming from, where you're coming from tonight, you could do this. By the way, how many of you that's at least encouraging for you? Type the number 1 if it's helpful in knowing that certainly you can do this stuff, regardless of your educational background, your color, where you live in the world. Type the number 1 if it's encouraging for you that you too can do it. Because let me tell you, if you knew what I came from, if you know where I came from, you'd say, oh my gosh, there's no way. Hey, anybody can do this. And I would call you out, Charles, say, if you knew where Charles came from over there in Chicago. No, I'm not going to do that, though. Certainly, everyone has the ability to do this. Now, I don't know. Sometimes I mess up the plug-in, and if I did, you guys can forgive me. But I'm going to tell you something, guys. Tonight, as we get through this today, you understand that it begins with the simplicity of everything. Now, the guys that are talking to you tonight, we're believers. We are believing in God. We believe in the Bible. That doesn't mean you have to. Doesn't mean that the principles we're sharing won't work for you. We're just giving you an origin from how we do this stuff, okay? And this origin is built on what we consider a true north. Now, as I say that to you, don't get all offended if, the minute anything about politics or religion comes up, some of you get all jacked up. Stay focused so you don't miss the point of this. The point is, if you take a look at the screen, I'm going to go ahead. The point that we're going to share with you first in this concept is being faithful over what little bit you have. Then that's a biblical principle that in order to be someone who's devoted in what you do, family-wise, and devoted to what you're doing business-wise, devoted to what you're doing as your service to the God you serve, whatever it is you're doing, that's one of the groundbreaking principles you have to begin with. Now, Charles and Dwayne, you guys know, I know, Dwayne, in your case, if you wanted to move forward with something when you were growing up, I'd say, look, you got to work with what you got first.
Yep.
Before I can help you with your math problem, work with what you have now. Try to work it out in scratch paper. Charles, I know you, bro. You know this concept, as I actually have followed your lead as an educator in just getting people started regardless of the background. Talk to us tonight. How important is this? I'm going to start with you first, Charles, since you're all the way on the right, and then I'm going to go to you, Junior, in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, there are people who believe, and Dwayne, you can probably attest to this, that you can be too educated to be successful in internet marketing. There are people who, I mean, your brain will give you every reason in the world as to why you can't do it. And so you really got to start with what you have, like Dwayne was saying. I didn't come into internet marketing knowing how to sell. And I think for the first year and a half, I made a lot of excuses for myself that, okay, well, I don't know how to sell, so I'm not going to be able to do this all that well. And at some point, you have 24 hours. If you live in the United States, you can get a free library card. You'd be surprised you can do that. And I think Dwayne Jr. often says it. You can Google just about anything, right? You can learn something about everything.
Yeah.
And so if you don't know how to do something, I mean, man, you got to kind of start with where you are. And I think the hardest part is, Dwayne, and I'll throw it back to you, is saying, okay, you know what? I have to learn this, and then looking at it and knowing it's going to take you a long time. But look, the best time to start trying to learn how to do something was yesterday, and the next best time is today. So you really just got to kind of figure out what you don't know, and then just start learning how to do it, and then do it.
Hey, Junior, you heard Charles. You heard me.
Yep.
And I don't know, for years, as human beings, we look to whatever we don't have and think that's the answer, right? The married guy looks for the girl on the other side of town. The football players in one team looks for another team. But as an internet marketer, you're going to think that you can look at what you have later, what you know later. But Dwayne, what can people do with what they already know and what they have so they can be prepared for the next stuff?
I think like a biggest part of the, since we're on the topic of internet marketing or affiliate marketing is, you were talking about being faithful over a few things so you can eventually become ruler over many, right? Can you guys hear me? Senior, you talking?
We can hear you.
Loud and clear, I hear you, man. You're doing good.
Oh, my bad. Okay, cool. Yeah, anyway, you were talking about being faithful over a few things before you can be like a ruler over many. And I think a lot of this has to do with when you go to talking about lists and emailing. The majority of our affiliate income comes directly from emailing. And a lot of you guys may only have 2 people on your email list, but you don't even email them. Don't think just because don't think when you guys have a list of 3,000, that's when you're going to start emailing. No. Like the senior used to always tell me, you are what you are becoming. So if you're a type of person that has a list now of 10 people, 20 people, you never email them, you're going to be the same guy that has 200 people and doesn't email them. So that's what, when you're talking about being faithful over the few things, you guys absolutely must start working with what you got right now. Okay, that's my biggest advice when you start talking about this, senior.
And you know what, Junior? That's why it's point number 1. Everybody wants to start with, as soon as I get enough to buy this new funnel, as soon as I get enough, I'm going to get some membership software. As soon as I'm going to get the latest, greatest thing because, and you know what? What's sickening, what hurts me is that the people that do this most often are seeking rescue, and the rescue already exists in your hard drive. And I'm telling you, Dwayne said it right. Start now with the email you have. Charles said it right. This is the premise of what it means to be an affiliate marketer. Okay, do I cry about not having a list for 4 months, or do I take the 3 people on my list and do I communicate with them and grow those 3 to be 9? And then those 9 to be 27. Is this what I do? Do I grow those 27 to become 81? Bottom line is, it's a principle. We grab it from a biblical source, but the principle works if you're a believer or not. And I'm asking you tonight to take the principle of starting with what you already know, right? You don't have to memorize the whole dictionary and become the master Frank Kern. No, what you can do is take what little bit you know and apply it. Charles and Dwayne, it doesn't become wisdom until that knowledge is applied. It's just information otherwise. So there you go.
Very true.
Point number 1, start with what you know and what you have. Number 2, for goodness sakes, be faithful with it. Charles and Dwayne, I'm going to start with you on the left, and then you, Dwayne. I'm going to start with you in the middle, Dwayne, and then Charles. But here's something that gets to me. I'm amazed that, based on your comment, Dwayne, people will start on Monday sending out an email message, posting something on Facebook. Then someone's birthday is on Tuesday. On Wednesday, they're a little stressed because the car broke down, and they don't email again until Friday. If you want your month to be spectacular, you have to be spectacular when things are not so spectacular. Be consistent. You're here tonight because you received an email message. You receive them all the time. But the sad truth is, a lot of you guys love being on the other side of it so much that you don't practice being a marketer. You want to have a great month. Be faithful with what you have, and literally be faithful by applying it. Send an email message, make a post. You guys are already affiliates of different things. Use it. Put into action. Dwayne Jr., there I go again, getting all hypey and happy and all that stuff. Break it down for him.
Yeah, a lot of it is just using what you have, like you said, Senior.
Being faithful, just
Yeah.
the consistency of it. So what happens, even for you, right? You're the master email marketer, retargeting dude for us, but what happens if you, I mean, literally, what happens to your income, even if you stop for 3 to 5 days
Hey,
or
man.
1 month?
Well, what happens when we don't email? We don't make affiliate sales, or we make very little if we don't email. Same thing goes with retargeting. I didn't know what I was really doing in the beginning. I tried it once when I got the same product a lot of you guys have, that Mario Brown retargeting product, and I decided to test it out. You know, I didn't spend much money on it, but I decided, hey, we got to learn this thing. So a lot of it just has to do with, you know, taking action and working with what you got. So yeah.
Charles, you heard it. We know there's a big thing about being faithful to your business, to your marriage, to your children, to your parents. Faithfulness is very important, but when it comes to internet marketing, it's no different. It still matters. It saddens me that we want to have 5 and 6 and 7-figure income, but we won't be faithful over the 3 and 4 digit incomes. Charles, help us out, bro. And I know I don't want to sound cruel in the way I'm saying it. You know I don't mean it that way, but you know I'm right. The fact that we want more than we're willing to be faithful over. Here's a question for you before you make your statement. If you won't respect $5 and $10, what in the world does anyone think when you get $1,000 or $10,000 that you're going to treat it any better? Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I used to do a membership with a guy that used to tell me, right? And he used to say, Charles, you know, if you can make a penny online,
Mm-hmm.
you can make $10,000. And what you have to do is you've got to do what you did to get a penny, and you got to do it over and over again, and you got to continue to scale it, right? I mean, I listen to people all the time talk about how much, you know, AdSense sucks, right, to make income. But these are people who don't do any videos, right? And they don't put their videos on YouTube. And these are people who don't do a video every day. These are people who don't do 2, 3, 4 videos every day. But the people who do them, and they do them consistently, before you know it, they've got, after years gone by, they've got 600 videos. Those videos are all working for them at the same time. And for them, AdSense doesn't suck, right? Because it's coming every month. They're getting a check every month from Google, and they're not doing anything after they create the 600 videos. So here's my point, going back to what Dwayne said. At some point, they had 0 videos, right? And the point is, whatever you do in internet marketing, you have to be consistent and you have to be prolific. So if you're going to do email marketing, you got to do it every day. I mean, you don't go to bed until you've written your email. If you're going to do videos, you have to do them every day. You got to create the content every day. You got to learn it. So part of the internet marketing is what your mom and dad taught you, right? Do something and do it right every day. It's not rocket science. It's not a loophole. It's not a secret. It's really all the stuff you learned as a child. You got to put it to work.
Well said, man. And you know what's interesting tonight? You know, some of these guys are gonna be upset. Don't worry. There's first of all, there's nothing to buy afterwards. Okay, because what we're talking about, you already possess. The real question is, are you willing to do something with what you possess? We talked about the idea of working with what you know, what you have. Then we re-emphasize the importance of being faithful. Many people recognize what they have for a day, but won't finish it out. Interestingly enough, a lot of you guys say, I would do it, but nobody knows who I am. I'm not popular. Nobody knows me. I'm not Charles Harper or Dwayne Golden. Didn't you realize 3 months ago you guys never heard of us either? You guys just met us too. It's not about that. It's the faithfulness that lets our names ring out in your mind. The faithfulness in the Monday Night Fusion webinar, the faithfulness in the email messages, the faithfulness in the videos, and the offers now. If you get that, understand that we're doing nothing any different than you can do in the next 4 months. We just stayed consistent and faithful because we took that recipe or that formula from the Bible that works for us in our personal lives and decided to implement it into our internet marketing, and you can do it too. Whether you're a believer or not, the principle works the same. The principle works the same. So that being said, it sets us up. It sets us up for the next part of this formula. Some of you guys are thinking, well, this isn't rocket science. Never was. Charles and Dwayne both said it. You guys started hearing this stuff when you were kids. You just was always taught there's this magic bullet after 12 years of education, then an additional 4, an additional 4. You were taught that it's somewhere out there in space, not realizing you already possess it. Third point, Charles and Dwayne, prepare for more. You know, there's a ancient, they call it ancient proverb. It's not a Chinese proverb. It's actually from the Bible, from the New Testament. It states that if you become faithful over a few things, you become ruler over many. That's one part. That's one piece of this philosophy, this concept, which I love. I knew if I wanted to be great one day, to stop trying to be a big man on campus and just be faithful over what little I had. I got that part. Okay, no problem. Here's the one that helps prepare you for more. You will know the truth, right? And you can act on that truth, right? Apply it. And guess what? It will make you free. It will free you up for more. Some of you guys, you learn the truth. Hey, if you send an email using this strategy, it's going to work. You know it, but you never apply it. So you're not free. You're still stuck with no, I got no list. What am I going to do? Right? You got to know the truth and let it set you free. It's not about, oh, I know something, now I'm free. No. Know it. Apply it. It's about the application of that truth. Some of you guys learned how to put up a landing page. You learned how to work with an autoresponder. You learned how to do a webinar but still have done nothing and applied nothing. For goodness sakes, your best month has been waiting to happen. It's waiting for you. It's already there. It's waiting for you to arrive with it by applying what you know. Know the truth, apply it, and let it free you up for more. Some of you guys, your list is the same way it looked 6 months ago. Your income is the same place it was on the internet as it was 6 months ago. Dwayne and Charles, I'm going to start with you this time, Charles. What in the world can they do with that? Just by applying what they know so that can expand it. You can't expect growth without the fertilizer. Charles, I'm going to calm down.
Yeah, I think what gets people hung up, Dwayne is, you know, when you hit the wall, you do it, right? You say, okay, I heard Dwayne, I'm gonna go ahead and try this, and it doesn't work the first time. You say, you know what, this sucks. I'm not doing this anymore. They're full of it. And what you have to do right? If it doesn't work the first time, I mean, you really do have to try it again. And when you get determined that it's going to work, like it's worked for somebody else, I've got to figure out. Here's the thing. You have to figure out how to make it work for you. In other words, if you try to write an email, like you get Dwayne's email, so you say, you know what, I'm going to just use his. And that sort of works, but at some point, all the strategies internet marketing will work for you, but you got to do it your way. You got to make them work for you. And the only way you do that, right, is you got to keep doing them until they work. And I don't even know how else to put that other than
No, it was good.
First couple of times you do it, it might not work, but it will work. You have to stay at it until it does.
Well said. Junior, hey, about that freedom, man. And what you talking about retargeting? We heard about it. We heard our colleagues doing it and all that stuff. Until you applied it, it didn't become real. Talk about what the heck is this about? Your voice is muted. Okay, there you go.
Sorry, guys, my dogs are being loud in the background. But I was saying that it's certainly one thing to know something, but it's a completely different thing to go and act on what you know already. That's what I think one of the biggest takeaways of this webinar has got to be. You know, you guys learn so much, a lot. We see a lot of the same people in the webinars every week. You know, we see a lot of the same people buying the products. But I want to start seeing those same people acting and, you know, sending out emails every day. I wonder if I'm on your email list, I should be seeing something from you every day. I should be seeing like one of your retargeting ads. You know, there was a product that came out teaching you how to do like Facebook ads for like $5. Some of you guys need spending $5 just to learn how to do Facebook ads effectively. So certainly there's one thing to know something, but it's time to start applying what we know so we can start, you know, making things happen.
Hey, well said, man. You know, it's great to know what you have and to really get it and to understand what you know and really be faithful to it and start using it.
Yeah.
And another even to begin to apply those truths and those concepts as you get them rather than just getting them, you know. And Dwayne said it well. I mean, how many Facebook strategies is someone going to bring to you before you start applying one, right? Think about it. Your stellar month, it's not anything mystical. It's already ready for you. What are you going to apply? When are you going to get off the bleachers and step into the game so it's a part of your life? You know, today, Dwayne and Charles, it took every ounce of patience I had to be faithful today. Skype went down. You guys know our team, our colleagues, our most of what we do in our meetings are done on Skype. It was a pain in the neck trying to make up the difference and accommodate Charles. I started talking to you this morning, and it wouldn't. After that, that's it, gone, offline. I live in a different country. I make all my phone calls. I do everything from Skype, right? Thing went down. But it was still required for me to hang in there and get it done, or we wouldn't be giving you this message tonight. You guys are going to have hiccups. You're going to have things happen. But let me tell you something. The magic is nothing that's waiting out there for you. To make this magic happen, man, let me just go ahead and tell you, before I get to that point, I'm going to tell you, make every day count.
About that, man.
Make every day count. It's raining. Someone's running for office. It's a holiday. You got company in town. No matter what, make every day count. You know, John Maxwell has a book. I think it's called Everyday Matters. I don't know how many times I read it, but I just love it. And it helped me to really master this idea and work with to make sure every day we get something out of it. Not just every day, every night, every moment. Really appreciate what you're given in life, regardless of your disposition. I mean, it amazes me, Dwayne and Charles, how many people tonight who are part of our list who are hard of hearing and mute, cannot hear, but they make it count. You're in the inboxes. I see the posts in Facebook. I think of people who are challenged because of where they live. The part of the world doesn't offer higher speeds of internet, but they make it count. And you know when you make every day count, you don't ever let the day sneak up on you. Dwayne and Charles, it scares me if I get to a day and I have to figure out what I'm doing that day. I have to know and have it on solid ground what's going on tomorrow. What am I emailing? What message is going out? What videos? What webinars? And what you guys have to do to make every day count, you can't let the day get there before you do. You have to get to tomorrow before it gets there, so when tomorrow is today, it's going to count. I cannot say that enough. If we go, Dwayne Jr. and I will talk about the email campaigns for the next day before that next day gets here. And I'm telling you, if it ever happens that we don't do that, that day won't count. It just goes in the wind. Now, before I give this to Charles and Dwayne, and I'm going to start with you, Dwayne, you guys, you get 168 hours a week. What are you going to do with it? Today cannot count if you live like an animal. And animals wake up and then it's whatever comes to their nose that they smell, whatever sounds they hear, that determines what they do. You can be purposeful. You are a form of life that is different from the animals. You can decide and determine and communicate in so many different ways. And this, my friend, if you can make every day count, you will have a stellar month, one like you've never seen before. Dwayne Jr., how about that? Any exaggeration there?
No exaggeration at all, man. That's a huge part of how we do our business. And I think I know a lot of it, a lot of the struggles. I know this would be tough for me too. But, you know, so a lot of us, not so much me anymore, but a lot of people typically, when they come across a new product or they come across a new idea, they may make that the next 2 days count and then stop. The biggest thing is after you come across a good idea that you're so inspired, or you come across a cool product, you're like, oh man, I'm going to make so much money now. The trick is making the days count when you're not excited anymore. It can't be all emotions. Just when you get so excited when you buy a product, like whether it be Webinar Fusion Pro, whether it be a Facebook marketing thing, you got to be disciplined and do it when it's not fun, when it doesn't feel good, and all that kind of stuff. So I think, yeah, making every day count is huge, man. You can't just only get excited when somebody sells you something. It's got to be, hey, I'm going to do this, you know, for the next 3 months if it kills me. You can't take it without stopping. You know, a lot of us only get excited for a week in the end. It's time to step up.
You know, Dwayne, you're 100% right. I'm sorry, I wasn't able to hear you. It's like your voice was going in and out. But I will say this. You're 100% right. And, Charles, which is going to lead me to the question I want to ask you. As these guys do this stuff, it's apparent that there are days, you know, the biggest hump for new marketers to get over is when they make a lot of money. And when they make their first $100, well, here's the trend that I see, Charles. Maybe you can help us with it. The first $100 to $1,000 usually puts the new marketer on autopilot where they don't do anything because they feel like they've already arrived. And so the stuff they did to make that money, they don't do it anymore until their income goes back down and they're broke again. Then they start. It's not uncommon for us to see someone posting how good they did on Facebook, and then they disappear for a while. Then they come back after the money's gone. They're like, oh, shoot, I got to do it again. Charles, help us out here. How can they make every day count rather than even when there's money in the bank? How could they literally be consistent and make every day count?
Yeah, I mean, you really have to have something that you're working on and working toward, like really, almost like every day. And what I think really helped me was trying to make sure, first of all, your original point, which was coming up to Monday. If I'm deciding on what to do on Monday, then Monday's shot. So, you know, and it's really simple. Like, you really do have to make up your mind so that on Saturday night or on Sunday, you just have a list of what you're going to do on Monday. And what that's going to force you to do is going to force you, number one, is try to figure out what am I trying to accomplish, and number two, what I have to do to make this happen again. Now, the other point that Dwayne was talking about, which is, and there's something funny, right? That money will play tricks with your mind. When you see something come into your PayPal account, and then all of a sudden it's there, your brain will start telling you, you know what, I'm taking the night off, I'm going to watch the football game, I'm going to do, and then Tuesday comes, your brain will tell you, I'm going to take off again, and Wednesday will come, you know what, I think I can let this go, and what you really got to do is really have a real set plan on what you want to accomplish, right? I mean, again, it's not really rocket science, but you do have to approach the day before it gets to you. But you just really have to understand, money will play tricks with your mind and make you think you can take off when you really don't have that luxury.
Totally.
Charles, that's good stuff, man. You know, I don't know if you guys hear me okay, Dwayne and Charles?
I am now.
I can hear you now.
Are you hearing me okay? Okay, good, good. So that's good stuff. You know, as we close out tonight, we don't want to overwhelm you with this. You deserve time with your family. At the same token, we really want you to realize you don't have to have a dry month. And this all this stuff happens in what we consider a day-by-day formula. And so it's certainly, you want to do your assessment. What do I have? What do I know? And begin to apply it so you can be faithful with it. And, you know, you want to make sure you free yourself up for more and more and more. And you can't do that if you don't act on what little bit you have. Now, where we're headed now, after making every day count, is this idea of working our magic in advance. And I don't believe in magic, but I'm just using that as an example. We like to work our magic in advance. We break it down. As you see, we're very timeline oriented. We talk about days, weeks, right? Next 7 days, 1 day, we'll have a good month. I'm going to tell you something. When you start managing your days, it's going to be very easy to see that even this week we're coming into the last 8 or 9 days of the third quarter of the year. You guys can get ready for the next quarter by how you manage yourself at the end of this one. It literally, you can work your magic in advance. Before the next quarter gets here, I'm going to ramp up. I'm going to get my eyes open. I'll spend the last 8 days of this month becoming a better email writer, seeing exactly how to manage my funnel, seeing exactly am I on the right level of my autoresponder, whatever. You can prepare yourself. Stop living by accident as a marketer and expecting 6- and 7-figure incomes. It's not going to happen. You have to become purposeful, faithful, work this thing day by day, but certainly when you do that, you can be in advance. So all that to say,
Dwayne,
this, guys,
let me. I wanted to say one thing here, and one thing I would really encourage you all to kind of think about is that probably about 3 or 4 months ago, Target, Walmart, all these big stores, they're getting ready for Black Friday, right? And so they've all got stuff they're going to be selling you, and they're going to be bombarding you with Black Friday, probably all the way up from probably well before after Halloween up until Black Friday. So if you want to have
New Year.
Right, until New Year. And so if you want to have the kind of Black Friday that Walmart has, first of all, make sure you've got something to sell. And then second of all, make sure that you are pushing. If Walmart's pushing harder than you are, then, I mean, you know, as a marketer, you got to question that. And so you got to be willing to push as hard as they are with what you have for Black Friday. Again, also, Christmas is coming. People like to buy things. And so it doesn't even have to be your stuff. Find something that you can put together for Christmas. You can put an information product on CD, make it pretty, and you can sell it all day long. Again, it's just really being in the mindset of you're in business, right? And Walmart and Amazon, they're taking Black Friday. It doesn't look like it when you go to their website. It looks like it's all fun and games, and they're trying to make it fun. But they're serious as a heart attack about it. And so we've all got to be as serious as they are about Christmas, about Black Friday, about all these things, and making things ready again, because it's about your family, right? It's not about the stuff. It's not about internet marketing. It's about your it's about your aging parents. It's about the kids. It's about, you know what, maybe you haven't been on vacation in a long time. It's really about that stuff. And so for that reason, you know, Black Friday is serious. Christmas is serious. And so if you take it that way, all those other things, they'll come. That's really what being faithful is, taking things seriously every day, making those steps toward being ready for those seasons. Dwayne, I know you're thinking about Black Friday right now. I know you're thinking about Christmas right now. And so we've all got to be that serious about what it is that we do, so that, again, it's really about those other people in your life. It's not about you.
Well said, Charles. You know, you guys have heard it here. And regardless of what time of year it's going to be, whatever you're going to do online, it's not about being a public figure and everybody knowing who you are. It's really about what you do behind closed doors. What you are when nobody's around, that will tell me a lot about what type of marketer you are. You want to change your outcome every month, guys? Certainly change who you are when no one's around. What are you doing in preparation for this amazing day you're going to get? I trust this is helpful. Before we go, I want to make sure you guys, if this was helpful for you, type in the number 3. If you believe this is something you can apply and you certainly have more confidence that you can do it and that you can plug this in, type in the number 3. While you're doing that, certainly stay tuned for additional email messages. And Charles, you're 100% right. I get email messages every day from Best Buy, Target. Some of them are really good, but some of them are really bad, some of the travel companies. But let me tell you something. You can do this. If you are freshly divorced tonight and you just don't know where you're going to start, you can start with what little bit you have. If you are alone for the first time, if you are struggling because this is so tough for you now that you're out of work, just know that you can do it. Be encouraged that the principles that God placed here in our world work the same for everybody, whether you're a believer or not, whether you're blue, underweight, overweight, none of it matters. I just encourage you to dive in and apply. From Dwayne, Charles, and Dwayne Jr., we wish you guys an amazing night for you and your families as Webinar Fusion Pro. We believe that the best thing we can possibly do for you is give you value. Yeah, you have a webinar system, but a webinar system by itself is the same thing all the rest of them are. We believe that this, my friends, can position you, give you much greater outcomes, and enhance your family's quality of life. Have a good night, all you guys. God bless you. Enjoy everything about this week. And step up, step in. If you're a part of our Just For You marketing group, log in. There's a product already out there ready to launch. If you're a part of our 100% affiliate network, get going. If you guys have already stepped in last week with Screencast University, apply what you're doing and what you have. From the bottom of our hearts, top of our souls, have a good night, guys. Take care.